Let's go. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you in the Wave Now Studios. How you doing? Finally, a quiet weekend, right? Hope you've had a good Saturday. Hope you enjoyed that sunshine, even if it was a little bit cool. This is the first totally quiet weekend we've had in, I believe, 5 weekends. And as you can tell, I'm very excited about it. No severe weather concerns this weekend, but we're still watching Monday. Still have the alert day for Monday, but I will tell you that alert day is hanging on by a thread. I'll explain why, and we'll look ahead to a fairly active weather pattern that's taking shape heading towards Easter weekend. Yeah, it could be a little damp for any holiday festivities next weekend. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also look at the ups and downs of the temperature roller coaster in the days to come as well. Who's watching us tonight? Excuse me. Spring allergies, I guess, are starting to kick in. Shonda says hello from Jeffersonville. Hope you're well, Shonda. Anita says, hey, I'm doing very well. Thank you. You're welcome for the sunshine. I'm just the messenger, but I'll take the compliments today, so thanks. Cameron says the planes are still out giving a show. I haven't been outside a whole lot today, unfortunately, because I've been working. But yeah, gosh, if only we didn't have that flooding, right? And, that's a big if only, right? But man, it would have been a beautiful day for thunder. One of the best we've had in a long time, but it's the way life goes, Can't do anything about it. ZK says, hello. Good evening. Waiting for mid-80s and low humidity. Well, you're going to have to wait a little while longer. We don't have too many 80s in the 10-day. Maybe a small chance for 80s as we get towards Friday of this upcoming week. All right, let's get you outside, shall we? We'll take you to the Great Lawn. If it was Thunder Day, that Great Lawn will be packed, but it is not. The Ohio continues to recede this evening, which is great. We're heading in the right direction there, but there's a lot of debris left behind. If you're watching our newscast at 6 o'clock, Wade News reporter Kirsten Foote was out there kind of giving us a lay of the land of the cleanup efforts that began today. And it's a mess. It's awful. I hate it. It's obviously the worst flood we've had on the Ohio since 97. The worst flood for many of us since the flood of 97. And it's going to take a long time to totally get rid of all that sludge and trees and driftwood and Lord knows what else in that Ohio River. But the first step is to get the floodwaters back down, and we're heading that way as we speak. Not too bad out there this evening. 59 our current temperature. We've gotten up to 60 so far. We may have touched 61 or 62 here in the last little bit, but not too bad. A little cool, yes, a little cool. But as we go through this evening, we will have some clouds streaming in, and that'll help to kind of keep the temperatures a smidge warmer overnight tonight. I'll explain what I mean in a moment. Let's talk about the rivers and where things stand at this point. You notice there are no longer any rivers in major flood. There are no more pink or purple circles on this map, depending on how you look at it, which is great. There are, however, still a couple of spots that are in moderate flood, one of which is the Ohio River, but downstream, down at the Camilton Lock in Perry County, out near Tell City. The Ohio is still in moderate flood further to the west. It's going to take a while before that portion of the Ohio gets below moderate flood and gets out of flood stage completely. It may be until Tuesday night or Wednesday of next week before we see the Ohio get back below flood stage at the Camilton Lock in Perry County. Remember, all this water is just slowly going downstream the Ohio, so as the levels drop here, they're going to stay elevated further to the west, out near Camilton, and they'll be still rather high as you get out towards Owensboro and Paducah and so on and so forth until the Ohio empties out into the Mississippi River. So it's kind of a ripple effect from east to west, downstream with the Ohio River. So we're still waiting on the Ohio to go back below moderate flood at the Camilton Lock. Rough River is also at moderate flood still. And it might be a moderate flood for a bit. Likely also the early part of next week before we see Rough River get back to where it should be down there across central Kentucky. So those are the only two, excuse me, the only two waterways that are still in moderate flood. When we look at the river still in minor flood, you note the Rolling Fork River near Boston. It's about to go back in its banks, thankfully. The Rolling Fork was one of the rivers that rose the fastest last weekend, and it has made a slow but steady journey back into minor flood and soon to be back below flood stage. In fact, I think early tomorrow morning is when we'll see the Rolling Fork. Goodness, excuse me. Tomorrow morning is when the Rolling Fork will go back into its banks, which is great news for our friends down there near Boston, southern Bullitt County, Lebanon Junction, that area. Should see the Rolling Fork back below flood stage by the time I'm talking to you tomorrow evening. We'll go up north first to the East Fork of the White River, and then we'll talk about the Ohio here in Louisville. So the East Fork of the White, it takes forever. When it floods, it takes forever for the White River to go back in its banks. And that trend is certainly holding right now. It's just now getting back into minor flood at 28 feet, and it'll likely stay in minor flood well into next week. So if you're watching us up in Lawrence County, Indiana, maybe Jackson County too, yeah, still going to be in flood stage up there. And now we'll focus on the Ohio here in Louisville, the McAlpin Upper Gauge. Remember, the McAlpin Upper gives us an idea of what's happening in downtown and further upstream, north along River Road, up into Utica, Indiana, where they've had horrible flooding as well. The upper gauge is in minor flood. It went into minor flood earlier today. It was in moderate flood this morning. It's now back in minor flood. And it will likely go below flood stage tomorrow. So I'm very optimistic by this time tomorrow evening, the upper gauge of the Ohio River will be back within its banks, or below flood stage, I guess that should be the right way to say it. There will not be any more flooding this time tomorrow evening here in Louisville on the Ohio River at the McAlpin Upper Gauge, at least. Still high water, obviously. The normal pool is 12 feet. So we still got twice that amount for a while, but at least we won't be in flood stage. So that's the McAlpin Upper. The McAlpin Lower, that tells us what's happening further to the west, downstream into western Jefferson County, along, I guess you could say Dixie Highway as you get down towards West Point, the casino over there in Harrison County. It's still cut off, I'm sure. But you notice the lower gauges in minor flood as well. And like the lower gauge, it should go back below flood stage sometime tomorrow, likely around midday. And this can fluctuate a couple of hours, give or take, but I think around midday, early afternoon tomorrow, both of the McAlpin gauges, lower and upper, will be below flood stage at long last. The waters will still be high, but there won't be flood waters anymore. And that's when the full-on cleanup effort that started today can really kick into high gear tomorrow and into the rest of the upcoming week. All right. So I'll leave the river map up. We'll answer a few comments, questions. Tracy says hello from Salem. Michelle says hi. Nancy says hi. Jody says hi. Matt says hello from Du Bois, Indiana. Jody's watching in Corden. Shout out to our friends in Corden. Yeah, Shonda, the planes and fireworks would have been awesome today. There would have been no cloud issues for the air show. Ceilings would have been as high as you want to go. Fireworks would have been great. But, you know, I said it last weekend. They made the right decision. I mean, yeah, the Ohio is receding tonight, but, I mean, all the mess that's left behind, guys, it's insane. It's going to take a long time to get that totally cleaned up, and you just can't chance it with hundreds of thousands of people going through that muck, that debris. No way. So it is what it is. We'll try again in 2026, right? But hey, we still got all the other Derby Festival events coming up, so still Still good times ahead. Yeah, I don't think there was any planes today. Somebody said earlier there was. I don't think there was. Maybe just watching planes go out in and out of the airport, but I don't think there was any air show routines today. Weather Geek took a walk around West Point today. The photos don't even begin to describe it. Yeah, the flooding in West Point was horrific. Across much of the region, it was. West Point was hit hard. Boston, New Haven, obviously downtown Louisville. Frankfurt's horrible. Just horrible condition, horrible flooding that happened there in Frankfurt. Nearly an all-time record for the Kentucky River in Frankfurt. This truly was, it was nearly a worst-case scenario. If not, it was a worst-case scenario in a lot of spots. The worst flooding most of us have seen since that big flood back in '97. No doubt about that. So it's going to take a long while to get everything cleaned up. That is for sure. Let's see. Brayden has a very good question. Why do river flood warnings expire at such specific times? That's a great question. So let's go back to the upper gauge for a minute, okay? The river flood warnings are automated. In other words, whatever forecast river level you see on these graphs, the flood warnings expire at the moment that line drops below flood stage. So that's why the flood warning might expire at 10:17 a.m. on a given day, right? And, don't take that as gospel, right? But it all depends on when that line, like the line you're seeing on this graph, it all depends on when it crosses back below flood stage. And that's the expiration time that the warning spits out for river flooding. So I hope that makes sense, Brayden. That's a really good question. It confused me for a long time when I was younger as well. So I get it. I get it totally. Jonathan says Jeffersonville was able to open up Utica Pike today. That's good. That's good. Again, now that we're in minor flood, we should start to see more of those roads open up, but it's going to take some time, especially River Road. River Road's a mess here in Louisville. Hopefully they can slowly open that up here in the days to come. Shonda says hopefully the boat race and the balloons will be a go. The boat race should be okay. The water will still be a little bit high by the end of this month, but it won't be bad. So that should be okay. The balloons, you never know. It just depends on so many weather factors. Wind, even cloud cover to an extent. Obviously, if it's raining, forget it. So hopefully we can get at least one of the balloon races in, but it always seems like one or multiple of them get canceled. Anyway, here's the big picture across the eastern U.S. Big Blue H. We love the Big Blue H. High pressure and control. It's basically right on top of us, the center of that high pressure. So it's keeping things nice and quiet here at home. That high pressure will drift just a wee bit east tonight and tomorrow. And then we turn our attention to what's happening up here in the northern plains. Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, South Dakota, Big Ten country. That's basically our next big weather maker. Now, the front with this system will not get here until Monday afternoon. But you see those clouds, especially in Iowa, those will try to sneak in overnight tonight. So I do expect to see an increase in cloud cover tonight, and you'll see a lot more cloud cover throughout the day tomorrow too. What you'll also notice is a stronger breeze that is out of the south and southwest, southeast. It doesn't make a difference. It's out of the south, okay? So that southerly breeze, despite the clouds, will nudge those temperatures up a little bit tomorrow. Now, it's still chilly tonight, despite the clouds moving in. It's not going to be as cold, however, as what we had last night. A lot of you got down to the low 30s this morning again. We had widespread frost. Some of you probably saw a light freeze. This is not the kind of cold that would necessarily lead to a widespread frost again. In fact, here in Louisville, I don't really think we have to worry about frost. If you live outside the city, lows around 37, 38. there could be a couple of patchy spots of frost, but the risk for any plants or vegetation being damaged tonight is lower compared to last night. Having said that, further to the east and further to the south, it's going to take more time for that cloud cover to move in. Because of that, you're going to have clear skies deeper into the night, which means your temperatures will drop a little bit faster than the rest of us. So, if you're down in Adair County, shout out Columbia, you do have a frost advisory tonight and early Sunday morning. So if you're down in Columbia, the clouds will probably be a little bit behind getting to you tomorrow morning. So I would go ahead and protect those plants or any vegetation, anything sensitive, overnight tonight if you live down in Adair County. Everybody else, the frost risk is much lower at this point because I do expect those clouds to move in, and we'll also see that breeze begin to shift a little bit. Instead of being out of the north and east like it's been most of the day today, it'll start to come out of the south and southeast, kind of keeping those temperatures in check just a little bit. So that's where things stand for tonight. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we mentioned a lot more cloud cover, maybe even more clouds than sun at points, but still a nice day. Highs top out in the mid to upper 60s for most. I got 70 as a high here in Louisville. That might be wishful thinking depending on how much cloud cover we have, but all in all, shaping up to be a pretty typical mid-April day tomorrow. Not too bad. You notice the wind will continue to ramp up throughout the day on Sunday. We'll have those gusts around 15 miles per hour through the afternoon, and then tomorrow evening, around this time basically, close to dinner time, we'll see those wind gusts ramp up to around 25 miles per hour. And that will keep things very, very mild tomorrow night. Definitely no frost concern on Sunday night. All right. Let's see here. Katie says in Carrollton, parts of it are still flooded. Yeah, that's not surprising. Of course, we had those evacuations in Carroll County last Sunday as the Kentucky River was really running extremely high. So, yeah, it's going to be a long recovery process, unfortunately, but one step at a time. That's all you can do, right? Christy saying, is the pink moon tonight? Yes, it is. Scroll down one post on our Facebook page. So go just below this video. I posted the times for when the moon's at its fullest tonight. It's actually coming up here in about 45 minutes, around 8:22, I think it is, the fullest that moon will be. Later on tonight, Christy. So yeah, full pink moon tonight. Clouds won't move in until late tonight after the fullest moon has already passed. So should be able to get a good look at it this evening. All right, let's turn to Monday. I'm still keeping the alert day in place, but guys, I got to be honest with you. It's hanging on by a thread. And the reason why is because this front is not looking quite as impressive. Well, it never looked too terribly impressive, but it looks even less impressive today. The timing is still the same. Between 2 and 8 p.m., there is still that risk for a narrow band of storms to develop right along the cold front that moves through on Monday. What's going to really keep this from becoming a more robust severe weather threat, a bigger severe threat, is the cap above our heads. So a cap is basically a pocket of warmer air above our heads. It's like a lid. It keeps particles from getting lifted into the atmosphere and setting off thunderstorms, right? That's one of the components you need for severe weather is lift, right? We're going to have that with the front, but the problem is if you got a warm air aloft above our heads, those air parcels, they get stuck. They can't break that cap. And usually when that happens, you don't get much in the way of thunderstorms, if anything, and all you get is a few showers. And this cap looks to be very, very, very strong on Monday. There's a layer of instability above the cap, but if the cap is protecting us from that instability, that's a good thing. And that looks to be the case at this point. Having said that, the high resolution models are still just now looking at this into Monday. So I don't want to pull the rug out from underneath us too soon. Okay. There's still that chance for a couple of stronger storms Monday afternoon. There is virtually zero tornado threat. Like, it is very, very small. If we do see any strong storms, they're going to have gusty winds and maybe some hail. Similar to Thursday, in fact, when we had a few severe thunderstorm warnings for wind and hail. I think that's possible again. But it all comes down to whether or not that cap above our heads can hold on. That cap holds on, we're good. Just a few showers Monday, that's it. But if that cap breaks, then we could have a few thunderstorms we have to watch. As far as flooding, that is not a major concern either. Rainfall amounts look very, very light with this system on Monday. So here's Futurecast, and you're going to look at this and you're going to say, why on earth do you still have an alert day for this? You just are, and that's fine. That's fine. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. This is our in-house model, by the way. This is not available to the public. This is in-house. But you see a whole lot of nothing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. It's warm. It's windy. We've got highs in the mid-70s with those wind gusts probably around 25 to 30 miles per hour on Monday. Now, here we go at 5 p.m. What do you see? What? Right? Not a whole lot of anything. Just a narrow band of showers, really. Now, could these showers have some gusty winds with them? Yeah, sure. They could. Absolutely. I know down near Nashville Thursday evening, there were severe thunderstorm warnings for gusty showers. Could that happen here? Maybe. I don't think it's a huge risk, but the bottom line is this high resolution model suggests that that cap in the atmosphere is going to hold, and that's going to put a lid on any storms, any severe storms that develop, which would be a very good thing, right? But again, we're just now getting into that range of the high resolution models, looking at this, the more specific models. So I want to wait a little while longer before we take out that alert day, because I don't want to take out an alert day and then we get to Monday afternoon and there's warnings all over the place. That defeats the purpose of alert days, right? So for now, things are looking good. More than anything else, this may wind up just being a few showers along a cold front. And that's it. Still a chance, though, for maybe a couple stronger storms that we'll watch. And you notice by 8 o'clock Monday night, it's over. Whatever threat we might have, if anything, is long gone by 8 o'clock Monday evening. And by the way, the greater severe weather threat Monday is to our north and east. You notice that all of us in wave country are under a level 1 risk, a marginal risk. That's the lowest risk you can have for severe weather. You go off to the north and east, across eastern Kentucky, up towards Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia. They have a slight risk, a level 2 risk. They have the better ingredients to see a few severe storms further to the north and east with this front. There's going to be a better force or a better push with those storms just outside of our area on Monday. So long story short, am I overly concerned about Monday? No, I'm not. Will we be able to get rid of the alert day? Possibly. Could there still be some storms that pack a punch? Yes. So it's kind of a wait and see game to see how the models continue to react to this system in the days to come. Here comes the 10-day. And we turn our attention to the end of the 10-day, starting Thursday, really. So we have a little cool down midweek, upper 50s, low 60s, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Thursday, we start to get more warm air back in here. And when we get in that warm sector, there's not going to be a front nearby to set off any thunderstorms Thursday and Friday, but there may be enough moisture for a few showers both Thursday and Friday. Doesn't look like a big deal. But as we get towards next Saturday, a week from today, that's when that front, our next front, after Monday's front arrives. So you notice next Saturday, those shower and thunderstorm chances are a little higher. And what worries me a little bit is the west to east orientation of this front on Saturday of next week. We see something like that happen, I get a little more worried about additional flooding concerns. It's not alarming at this point, but it's just something to keep in the back of our minds. You notice the shower and thunderstorm chances linger into Saturday evening. Right now, I have a 30% chance. There's a good chance I'll have to increase that in future updates. I think Saturday is looking pretty damp at this point. Is it a washout? I don't want to say that yet, but it looks wet. Now, we get into Easter Sunday. You notice we don't have quite as much moisture over our heads. Still a few showers possible for Easter Sunday at this point, but the main cold front is situated off to our west, and that will bring us higher rain and storm chances after the Easter holiday. So it's kind of two pieces here. You got the first front that kind of meanders into our area Saturday, giving us better shower and storm chances. It kind of dissolves, fades away right on top of us. So there still might be a few showers for the holiday itself. And then that cold front to the west sweeps in after the Easter weekend. So a muddy setup, that is for sure. A bit of a messy setup as we head towards next weekend. There will be a lot of adjustments with Easter weekend. So check back often for those updates, be it here on the digital side of things or on the old school TV side of things during our newscasts. We get closer to Easter weekend. You notice Friday is warm and windy in that warmer air. 78 is our forecast right now. There's some models suggesting we get into the 80s again by Friday of next week. So we'll see how that trends in the days to come. But after we get past this front on Monday, which again is looking like less and less of a big deal, it's fairly quiet until next weekend, which has been a signal for a while that as we got towards Easter, things would get busy again. Severe weather busy, not necessarily. And I don't see a huge outbreak at this point for Easter weekend at all. But there could certainly be a few thunderstorms, especially on Saturday of next weekend. And again, a lot of this will be adjusted in the days to come as we get closer to Easter, okay? As far as the ups and downs I talked about when you got the notification on the Wave Weather app or on socials, those temperatures. We go from the low to mid 70s tomorrow and Monday, down into the 50s Tuesday, back up into the 60s Wednesday, Thursday, then the 70s, close to 80 on Friday. And then we kind of level off in the lower 70s next weekend into the following week. So some busy times ahead, nothing crazy, nothing insane at this point like we just got done with from last week. But it's spring. It is spring, and quite honestly, the fact that we're not talking about a ton of severe weather right now is a good thing. I don't know how much longer we will be able to say that, but we're enjoying the reprieve while we can, right? We'll look through the comments one more time, and I will wrap it up. If I don't hear the alert day ever again, I'm good. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But we live in a part of the world that has very active weather, so unfortunately, those are just a way of life around here. ZK, we're good for tomorrow. Oh yeah, you're fine. Yeah, nice day tomorrow. More clouds again. It might be a little gloomy at times, depending on if we have more clouds than sun, but still a really nice day shaping up for Saturday. Let's see. Brandon asked about the severe potential for Easter weekend. It's possible we have a couple of stronger storms, but I just don't see a huge severe weather risk right now for Easter weekend. Not at this point. Dave is asking about Grayson County for Monday. Well, remember, we don't want to get too terribly specific because there's a lot of you out there in a lot of different little towns, so we don't want to forget anybody. But in general, we're looking still at a window for maybe a few strong storms Monday afternoon, but I mean, quite honestly, as we look at Futurecast again, it's not much. I mean, according to this model, it's just a few showers. They can still have gusty winds, don't get me wrong, as the front itself moves through. But, I mean, if that cap in the atmosphere, that lid of warm air above our heads, if that holds on Monday, we're fine. We don't have to worry about severe weather at all. But if that lid breaks, then we could have a few stronger storms Monday afternoon. So, again, for now, I'm going to keep the alert day in place. But if the trends continue to hold, where we're just looking at a few showers Monday afternoon, hopefully I'll be able to pull the plug on it tomorrow. But I don't want to do that, and then we get to Monday afternoon, and we've got warnings everywhere, because that defeats the purpose of why we do the alert days. So stay tuned. I wouldn't panic about it at all. Might be a couple of storms, but it's not nearly as bad as what we just went through. So take comfort with that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Appreciate you watching. I'll be on TV tonight on Wave News at 11. If you want to watch the old school newscast, please do so. We hope you'll tune in. I'll be here on Sunrise Sunday morning. And, of course, we'll do an update here on the digital side of things around 7:15 or so tomorrow evening as well. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the dry weather. Don't worry too much about Monday. Doesn't look like a major concern. We'll watch it, though, as we go through the next couple of days. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Take care. See ya.